What's up, everybody? It's been a while since I did a video, but trying to get back at it. Um, lots of crazy, chaotic things going on this year with COVID and the stock market. Its impact on pretty much everybody in the world as far as our livelihoods, our lives, health. We've lost a lot of people. Some of us know people personally that were taken by COVID. So my heart goes out to those of you that have lost loved ones in the midst of this all of this pandemic. And yeah, so I've been meaning to do this video for a little while, and I wrote notes down a few months ago to make this happen. And it definitely would have been better, in my opinion, for me to have done it, right when COVID happened, as opposed to, a few months after the onset. But so, what I want to talk about is support and resistance, basically, and how you can use those levels as a long term investor, um, as sort of buy in points for your stock. So when COVID initially happened, I had a lot of people inboxing me, asking or mentioning, you know, buy the dip. It's time to buy the dip. What do you think? What are your thoughts on buying the dip? What should I buy, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, this is not any kind of investment advice. This is just purely educational and just for your entertainment and my own as well. But so yeah, I had a lot of people asking me those same types of questions when COVID initially happened, and that's what sparked the idea for this video. Instead of people kind of arbitrarily buying a falling knife, so to speak, at that time, as opposed to having a strategy, a plan for building a position long term. So basically, support and resistance they're just areas of they're basically significant areas, areas as in price uh, ranges, where price tends to uh, have a pattern. So if you look at stock XYZ over the life of it, you might see something like, oh, it all it when it touches this particular level, it tends to favor this level, or it bounces hard off this level, or when it hits this level, it tends to fall hard, or whatever, whatever. So I'm just going to use Apple as an example. Um, and me, I tend to think of support and resistance as ranges instead of specific numbers. I do both. I do a bit of both, but I definitely prefer to think of them in terms of ranges. So what I like to do is I like to start with a view of a company over the life of its public history, so to speak. And then that allows me to get an idea of historical levels, because those levels tend to always be significant. Um, I doubt Apple fall all the way to like 75 or anything anytime soon. I mean, that is possible post split, but right now, not really. But what I have here is a weekly chart of Apple over the life of the company, or the public life of the company, I should say. Um, and actually, I would prefer to be able to see it all. Okay, yeah, so I prefer to see it all on one sort of picture here. And as you can see, Apple has, exponential growth over the life of the company. But anyway, so support and resistance. So you come to me or I'll just use myself as an example. Boom, COVID happens, markets are just falling, they're tanking. And so, me, uh, if I were a beginner in terms of knowledge in the markets, I say to myself, I have an iPhone or I have an iPad or an iPod or whatever. I like Apple products, and not saying that's me specifically, but a lot of people do. But so I have all these Apple products, so I'm like, why not buy shares of Apple? But my conflict is the markets are tanking for one. So at what point do I buy? I don't want to buy in, at 300 and have it lose 75% of its value potentially. So what my humble suggestion or my humble thought would be is to do a study on the historical levels or price points for Apple. That way I can say, okay, if Apple falls to this level, I'm going to build into this position. If it continues to fall and it falls to my next level, I'm going to buy some more. So I'm not just buying at random, you know what I'm saying? So all right, let's look at Apple. Um like I said, this is a weekly chart over the life of Apple as a public company. Um, so, and as I said before, I like to think of support and resistance as ranges as opposed to hard set numbers. So we'll just start kind of way back. Um, actually, actually, I won't go back that far because I mean Apple will never be sub penny again. So we'll start up in these levels. All right, so um, actually, I'll start at the beginning here. So basically, I'm just looking for ranges where the price kind of consolidates for a little while, like maybe it struggles to break out, struggles to break down, and things of that nature. So I'm going to use just a simple little drawing here in Thinkorswim, the little rectangle drawing, just to identify my ranges. As you can see, I started drawing some stuff on a different time frame there, but I also like to look for what's called gaps, but for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to go into that, but just stick to the other stuff. So um, I'm looking at Apple over the history of the company, and I'm saying, okay, Apple is falling. When am I buying? You know, so actually, right here is where COVID happened. Yeah. So, uh, yeah. So these will be the levels that I'm looking at, and I went a little bit in the future for the purpose. We're just pretending that this is back a few months in February, late February, early May. So, uh, I'm looking for areas. I'm asking myself, where am I building into my Apple position? I've already identified Apple as a candidate as far as my long-term portfolio. So, uh, so yeah, and this isn't necessarily an exact science, um, but so yeah, I'm just trying to find those key areas where I can start to um, build into my position. So instead of just throwing a bunch of money at it off the rip, I'll allocate, let me pick up 10 shares here, and if it falls more to this level, let me pick up 10 more shares. So I just average down and build into the position strategically. Okay, so where else are we looking? I would say somewhere in here is pretty good. Somewhere in there is all right. Zoom out a little bit. I don't mean to do that much, but whatever. All right, that's good there. Okay, I see why I did that. So basically, I'm just kind of looking for um, areas where uh, I'm seeing patterns in the price action, right? Um, so this, I'll probably take a screenshot of this for myself for the future, because I am one that, has been trying to strategically build a position on Apple. Um, so let's see. We'll say here. All right, so you know, I mean, hopefully you get the point. Um, and so, something catastrophic happens, like COVID, then I know the historical levels for the particular company that I'm targeting. And I can say, okay, if it hits these particular zones, that is the only time that I'm going to be buying. Um, and you just kind of stick to that. So, a lot of what happened was a lot of people bought right at the high and got crushed, especially, not knowing, especially just going in the markets off of market hype. And that's what a lot of people did because a lot of gurus were throwing out there, hey, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And and they weren't saying anything else. So you just never know how far a particular stock can dip. So I mean, you can buy the dip, but you may have bought right at the beginning of the dip, and after that dip comes another dip, and then another dip, and then another dip, and you're just like, wait, this is not what I signed up for. But really, it is. You just didn't know. But so yeah, uh, using support and resistance as a strategy for building into your long-term positions. Hopefully, this was pretty straightforward. And leave any comments if you have any questions or any feedback. I welcome it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.